We're in a beautiful house in Bloor West Village today that we renovated and constructed for our clients. This was a single-story bungalow that we turned into a three-story home. Our team at Art Studio did all of the planning, committee of adjustments, design, and furnishings. My colleague Marianne Kawamura and I worked on all the space planning and all of the finishes selection and implementing this entire project. Today we're looking at the main floor, which is a beautiful open concept space with a foyer, powder room, dining room, kitchen, and living room. We knew we really wanted to create a neutral space that would have a lot of really warm undertones. And so our palette for the initial build was really very neutral and leaning towards the warm side with some accents of black. And then when we got into the furnishing stage, we wanted to bring in some other elements like some blues and some olive greens to expand on that neutral palette, but still add some color. The kitchen is the heart of the home, is it not? I feel like it's where everyone always ends up. So we really wanted to make sure there was a lot of storage and that function-wise it was gonna work really well. This is like my ideal kitchen setup where we have an island with just a bar sink on it, but nothing else. And then we've got a full wall for the stove and countertops and then another wall for the sink and dishwasher. So the layout of this kitchen worked out really, really nicely. And it also means that the island can be this big open space in the middle and doesn't get cluttered because it doesn't have any of the pieces like a sink or a stove on it. We wanted to have seating at the island, which is always great, especially for kids and our clients have a young daughter. We thought a lot about these stools. I love the two-tone and the shape of the back. They feel light and open, but they're also super comfy. And I think that's always the element you're trying to hit because really nobody likes a backless bar stool. Nobody wants to sit there. And what's the point of having the seating at the bar if no one's gonna sit there? The countertop and the backsplash is all the same material, which keeps it really easy to clean. Very nice there. And because we did this whole renovation, including the permitting and everything, we thought a lot about where to place these windows on this wall. So we end up with these two symmetrical windows on either side of the range, which I think makes the hood a really nice feature. And we wanted to add this ribbed detailing, which ties in with the island, which is also curved at the end, just like the hood. But by creating windows on this area, we have a lot of storage, but it also keeps one wall all open. So it doesn't feel like there's so many upper cabinets. And I think the light that's coming in from that side also really makes the space feel really beautiful and airy, even if you don't have your overhead lighting on. Our floor is a beautiful white oak and it's a little bit lighter than the tone on the cabinets. I feel like either you want to perfectly match your woods, which is almost impossible because you are reading them on different planes, so the light is going to hit differently, or you want to mix different shades that are similar in tone and create that layered feeling. So with the cabinets, we went again with the white oak, but it's a little bit richer and a little bit deeper than the floor, which pairs really beautifully with the white uppers and the white full pantry cabinets. We've combined two different styles of cabinetry. So the white millwork has a slim shaker detail and then the wood is all slab, which I think ties in really nicely with the clean lines of the space. For the plumbing fixtures and the hardware, we wanted to keep it really clean. So everything is really simple lines and we used a tab pull instead of big clunky hardware. Oh, a banquette! Shocker of shockers. We put in a banquette. We wanted to create a dining area for the family to use on a day-to-day basis so that the dining room could be their more formal space. So we built this banquette towards the back, fit really nicely. The reality is if we tried to put a dining table there, it wouldn't fit because by pushing the banquette against the wall, we gain over a foot of space. So we created this awesome nook back there, which is great to hang out with family, also creates an extra seating space when you're entertaining because a banquette is essentially a couch. So it expands your family room seating area. We wanted to add some detail to the banquette and we did vinyl, which is great for young kids, and added a tufting detail, which is more traditional element. And I think it's that balance. The chairs have more of a contemporary feel and they again have that curve on the back like the bar stools. And I feel like the olive green in this space and the blue in here works in really a neutral way and they just feel warm and inviting without feeling like a bold pop of color. And at the very back there, we created like a coffee station bar area. So there's a beverage fridge, the clients keep their coffee maker there, and also where entertaining could be a great spot to set up a bar. The living room. So the main element in the living room is this huge millwork wall that has a corner fireplace and this awesome micro cement finish. We really wanted to create a contemporary focal point for the living room that would have a TV and also a cozy fireplace. And then we also added the element of the bookshelves in there so that we could layer in some accessories and make it feel more warm. Who doesn't love sectional? I mean, we went with a giant sectional here. This was a custom piece that we had made in Toronto, really fills the space. It's quite deep also, which is super comfy. And I feel like it still has a bit of a tailored look in terms of the shape of it. It's not an oversized big arm with those big back cushions. So for entertaining, it still feels really sophisticated, but also for like laying and watching a movie, still super comfortable. We brought in some blues and olive greens into the space, which layered really beautifully with the neutral palette that we created with the shell. And again, I feel like in here, they don't feel like pops of color, they feel like subtle layering. And I always described it as like color, not color. So your eye isn't drawn to like a bright blue chair, it's more that it fits in softly with the space around you. The dining room is at the front of the house, and it is still open to the kitchen and the staircase area and the family room at the back. We wanted to create for the dining room in like an elegant, slightly more formal space. We kept the furnishings really simple in there, but then we added this wall of paneling just to add a little bit of those traditional elements in a more contemporary way. We added in a dramatic modern light fixture. I really like the quality of light that this light gives. It's really warm in tone. And also we wanted to create a really comfortable space. So we added all these upholstered dining chairs, which are done in 2 different fabrics. And also they're really durable fabrics that work really well for kids over time. One of, I think, the biggest challenges with Toronto houses is often you step right into the living room. And this house in its original configuration, you stepped in and there was a closet, but you were standing right next to the sofa. So I think especially with an open concept space, you want to step into a more enclosed room and then the open concept reveals itself as you come through. So in this space, we created a beautiful foyer with a tile floor, which is going to be super durable for our climate, and also tons of storage. So we did beautiful white oak cabinetry and also a bench area with a full length mirror for a check and you're on the way out the door. And in that same space, we also created a powder room. I always feel like with a powder room, they're the best when we can keep them in an area where the door is not in the dining room, not in the living room, and not in the kitchen, because nobody wants to have other people listen to them pee. It's a fact. So this powder room sits within the foyer, and to access it, you go into the foyer first, so you're still separated from other people when using it. We thought a lot about lighting in here because there's so much different lighting that's interacting. There's sconces on either side of the TV, there's a sconce in the kitchen, there's lights over the island, fixture over the dining table, and then the pendants over the eating area. I feel like with lighting, the goal is always to put together groupings that are gonna coordinate and complement each other, but aren't gonna be too matchy. So we did go with pendants dropping over that banquette table at the back, and considering those is also why we didn't go with pendants over the island, because it would have seemed like a lot of hanging down in your eye line. So our clients have been living here for almost a year at this point. They are loving it. They love the space. I mean, they've gained so much square footage, it's life-changing. But on top of that, I think that the way the main floor is functioning for them has been working really well. And the feedback is they're really happy with the space and they're really enjoying living in it, which is awesome. That's what we want to hear. I think the layout of the main floor works very, very well. It's very similar to a house we've done before, so we had an idea of how that would work. But when I'm in this space now, I was really just pleased with how warm it felt. And although it's so open concept and the walls are white, there was so much layering and texture in the furnishings and the wood tones that it does feel like a warm, cozy space, which I think can be hard to achieve in an open concept space.